Singapore, whose Olympic experience can be listed as just one appearance way back in 1956 when they finished in 8th place. But they are here and living the Olympic dream as a late replacement for the USA, who dropped out when it proved impossible for them to find a competitive enough team to bring here to New Delhi. Well done, Singapore, for joining the Olympic party. Well, India simply must qualify for London for the good of hockey in this country. Still considered to be the cradle of hockey. It's been too many years since India graced hockey's top table. But here we are in Delhi, and surely the spirit of the legend of Dhyan Chand will sit on the shoulders of this Indian squad. They shouldn't need much help for the main man in this one, though. Singapore sit well below India in world rankings, and with so little time to prepare, they'll do well to keep the score respectable here. And certainly the Indians in the crowd have come expecting an avalanche of goals. Presentations to both teams before the start of the match here. Ajay Makkan, the Sports Minister of India, and he's escorted along the line by Leander Negre, the popular President of the International Hockey Federation, and Narendra Batra, the General Secretary of Hockey India. So a nice occasion this for the two teams. We've already had India's women performing, or underperforming really, it has to be said, in a 1-1 draw with Ukraine. And the fans in the crowd here will be hoping that India's men can show the women the way to do things without too many alarms and excursions along the way. It's been a long line, but the Sports Minister has almost reached the end of it now. Escorted along the line by India's goalkeeping captain, that's Bharat Chetri. Proud moment for him as well, as he leads his team out in this wonderful stadium. So that's the end of the procession, as it were. And we're looking at the Indian flag now in preparation for the playing of the national anthems. The anthem then of India. Well, it's my first visit to India, and one long overdue. The anthem then of Singapore, who brought a young squad here and a little short perhaps on international experience. But what a learning curve this is going to be for them. Truly their Olympic Games. There's the Indian lineup. Their captain and goalkeeper, Bharat Chetri, Ignacy Turkey, a much seasoned defender in there. Sandeep Singh, they'll be looking for him at the penalty corners. And Sardar Singh in the engine room. He's the one that makes things happen for India. Coach Michael Nobbs is an Australian by birth, but making a real name for himself here in India, and he's got the team playing very much an Australian frame of mind and style of play. Singapore's goalkeeper Sam Ong could be in for a busy evening here. That would certainly be the general expectation. A wonderful setting. Tim Pullman there, the umpire from Australia, just putting the finishing touches to the ground equipment, and we're almost ready to go. A quick check on his watch. Colin Hutchinson there from Northern Ireland will be umpiring on the far side. Well, I'd like to be a fly on the wall in that particular Singapore huddle. They couldn't have expected this a couple of months ago. The Olympics seemed a long way away for them, but here they are in the Dhyan Chand Stadium, lining up against the Indian team, and they both have the same goal in mind, the Olympic ticket for London. India massive favourites for this one. I've mentioned this is my first visit to India, and it is a visit that's long overdue from the point of view of my hockey education and indeed cultural education, but I feel both honoured and privileged to be here and to share with you this road to London 2012, which started out, remember, with the Olympic announcement made to London in Singapore. And sitting alongside me, a man who knows plenty about the Olympic Games, the president of English hockey now, Simon Mason. Simon, welcome.
Evening, Nick. Thank you.
Looking forward to this one?
Immensely. India playing at home in India. Not a full house here tonight, but certainly a lot of noise. It'll be a fantastic experience for Singapore, and let's hope the weight of expectation doesn't temper the Indians' performance.
Well, I suspect the crowd here are expecting this to be a rout. Anything less than double figures would be viewed as a disappointment. Singapore, well, they've got nothing to lose here, and they've got the youth on their side and the precociousness that youth often delivers. And as long as they don't freeze in the early stages here, this should be a marvellous experience for them. Just how rich an experience, only time will tell. No shortage of confidence in the early exchanges as Singapore try and get an attack going down the left-hand side. They are young and green at this level. Simon, you were speaking to their coach a few weeks ago, I gather.
That's right, yeah. I was fortunate enough to be chatting to Sully Kasiji and about the size of the budget they've got, and the size of the budget they have for their entire programme would probably run a couple of months' worth of one team at this level normally.
India putting the Singapore circle under attack. They clear the ball the length of the field. Well, this is what the Olympic Games surely is all about. It's the taking part, and Singapore, by agreeing to be that late replacement for the USA, have an opportunity here to feel just a little part of the Olympic ideal.
We can see, looking at the original layouts, that Singapore appear to be holding a half-court press to pause briefly as India come on the attack.
Goalkeeper slides out and the ball deflected over the top of the bar. But real pace and incisiveness there about the Indian game.
See the replay there, great skill down the baseline, a flip across the goal. What an opportunity. That was Mushtaba coming in on the run.
Just couldn't keep it underneath the crossbar. Well, this stadium is filled with unexpected air. And if there were a roof, I'm sure it would come off if India can start with an early goal here and set them on the road. We've already had one goal feast today, with Canada knocking in 9 against rather disappointing Italy. The gulf between the world rankings is never greater than this matchup here. Or ranked a very lowly 41st. But it's about 70 minutes, and I won't say anything can happen, but almost anything can happen. India piling on the pressure here, lifted by the crowd. And we're looking at the umpire, but Tim Pullman with his left arm aloft, waves play on. Singapore have the ball, run it towards halfway.
Yeah, what if it's going to be difficult for Singapore is they're going to have to defend in numbers to deny the Indians any space. So when they then do win the ball and make tackles, as they just did at the head of their own circle, they've got nothing in front of them. So they're going to have to sort of resort to individual runs, and the patience and structure they're going to need to get out. I'm not sure they'll have the experience in order to do so, but it's certainly full credit to them for trying so far.
Well, it's tough to see them surviving for a full 70 minutes with that sort of tactic, but you can understand that they don't want to give India a start here. The longer they can keep the scoreboard blank, the better they'll like it. But problems immediately for them here with India switching the play. And a little bit of a misunderstanding there. The run of Tushka Kandakar taken to the baseline there, but missing out on the final pass. That's an error from the Singapore defence. They could well do without, but once again the umpire coming to Singapore's rescue.
A little fortunate there, Singapore. The initial pass, crossfield pass, was dangerous to say the least, and they very, very nearly got punished. The last-ditch tackle saving them.
India missed out on the Beijing Olympics, and they're very keen not to miss out on London. Singapore have a free hit. Drilled into the circle.
Yeah, that shows the inexperience. However, Singapore, the ball didn't move 5 metres before it was crashed in. That moment of hot-headedness, so they need to calm that down slightly.
It'll be part of the overarching anxiety they must be feeling here on this big stage. This is a real step up in experience for them. There's another lovely lead for here by India. Ball played in towards the circle. Oh! A little bit of magic, and very nearly the first goal there. That was really unlucky.
Shivendra Singh, who crossed it. It was an absolutely stunning touch behind the body. We see here, there's the cross that comes in. Touch behind the body onto the near post.
And Sunil really unlucky. That would have been a real crowd-pleasing goal. Here's a chance, and this time it flashes wide of the other post. Well, India are certainly asking the questions. Ranbir Singh there with the latest attempt, just off target.
Against that ball down the right-hand side, picked up by Danish, looking to get it across, and finds his pass. He's given that much space, he is going to cause all sorts of problems in the Singapore defence.
Really solid challenge put in there by Sandeep. He's penalised for it. Sandeep's talents lie very much at the penalty corner set piece. Maybe not the most mobile of defenders, but I know he's been putting in some work recently with Dilip Turkey, the former Indian defensive great. He's working a lot on Sandeep's footwork. Let's see the benefits of that as the tournament works on. Singapore looking rather stretched here. They're fully committed to the attack, but foul, an easy one there for Tim Pullman to give.
India running a full court press, really stepping out on the Singapore defence, giving them no option but to throw possession away. It feels like Singapore are going to need to just play out through the flank channels to give themselves an opportunity to build some possession. They're so quick these days, they turn it away even 50-60 metres away. They'll be back on the doorstep within seconds.
They come in here again, and the pass just too far behind. Shivendra, one of the real stars of the Indian hockey circuit. Now Singapore in the shape of Mohamed Ishak, trying to get the ball clear, but they're struggling for any sort of quality of possession at the moment, living off the scraps that India allow them. Sandeep under pressure and fouling there. Singapore's free hit, a couple of metres inside their own half of the field. Almost 8 minutes gone here, and so far Singapore will be very happy with their early work.
It feels the reason that the Indian attacks have not quite the result that you want is they're actually possibly playing a little too quick. The urgency that they were willing to put into this game suggests the passes are just a metre astray in front or behind, and I suggest that if they just actually slow things down a fraction, they might be a little more incisive.
Well, that's a very wise point you make, Simon, and one that wouldn't be wasted on two of the sides here. Sometimes you can press too much and try too hard. Now, how about this for a chance there for India? Goalkeeper's off his line, and a scrambling save. A little bit of help there from the defenders as well. And somehow the ball stayed out of the Singapore net.
I have no idea how. There were 3 or 4 opportunities there. Keeper's made a good save along in the goal, but the ball appeared to squirt behind him, and it was just a case of jabbing it in for India, but somehow Singapore scrambled it away.
Really good diving attempt there from Danish. India seeing plenty of the ball.
If we look, Singapore have got all 11 men back in their own 23.
Shot comes in, and again flashed wide, and that could so easily be the opening goal there. The goal's coming, you sense.
Well, that's 10 minutes gone, and probably 7 or 8 good chances. Flashed backstick across the goal, touched. How that didn't go in, I don't know.
Yuvraj, well, Mickey there with the final touch, just couldn't get enough stick on the ball to put it into the back of the net. Here come India again, wave after wave of those light blue shirts coming forward, and Singapore living dangerously again here. The ball's in the net, and it stands this time. Singapore's defences are breached, and India have the lead here.
Yeah, it was a wild swing in the first moment, but there wasn't a Singapore defender within a couple of metres of the forward. Therefore got a second bite of the cherry. Great pace around the baseline.
Chandy, the goal scorer, nicked it away from a defender. There was the air shot, but the ball was still there, and he squeezed it almost into the turf and up into the back of the net. Goalkeeper hardly had time to flinch. So India have got their lead, and it could be double here. What a chance! Brilliant save.
That's a brave piece of goalkeeping to charge down that backhand. It was a good 6 or 7 metres away from the ball when the opportunity arose. Great speed from Ong in goal to get on top of that.
Samong, who we reckon could be the busiest man in the city of Delhi. There's another one, no chance this time. Pick it out. Sada Singh doubles India's advantage, and the Indian bandwagon is rolling on the rails again now. 2 goals in quick succession, and a pretty good save in the middle of those 2 goals as well.
That's a great finish into the bottom corner. Oh, he's got his wrists, got his eyes up, got his body round, and just fired that in. Singapore getting undone by trying to play it into their centre half, and it's happened again.
This is where the inexperience is going to tell. India looking for more blood here, and they might get it too. They've got a penalty corner. Second prize off the foot there of the Singaporean defender. And this could be our first chance to look at Sandeep, perhaps, to come up from the back. And there'll never be a better chance for him with the Singapore defence very much at 6 and 7. Again, the ball chopped into the turf and up into the defender's body.
That's a painful blow on the knee. Brave charging down as a defender.
Well, India have plenty of options for them available at this corner. I see that they brought up Raghunath, number 12 as well, who's looking particularly interested in affairs at the moment as well. Out it comes. It is Raghunath who takes it on, and again a very good charge by the defender.
That's a magic charge down, right on top of the flick. think it was quite slow, but Singapore are countering.
It was Nur Ashrik with the charge. They did really well. He took it very cleanly on his stick, as if it was the most routine thing in the world. Well, he gave Sandeep the big build-up, but not involved in that corner.
Difficult to tell how fast the flick was, but it's right off the middle of the bat of the #1 runner. Great rebound to give Singapore a counter-attack opportunity, but it was a long, slow drag.
Well, India now have quite a battery of penalty corner strikers at their disposal. It's in a strong position at this level.
Well, the press has been talking about the training they've been doing and the ex-Indian players who've been helping to develop each line, and we're talking about the fact they now have 3 or 4 real good exponents of flicks from the top of the circle, so no longer reliant just on the skills of one man.
They've been using Yuvraj, I hear, as a penalty corner coach, and had it not been for a very unfortunate motor accident, Yuvraj would probably be one of the jewels in this particular Indian crown. And hockey missed him. His hockey career cut short. And there's a mistake there by the last line of Indian defence, and the ball's come up in the air and struck the body of the defender, so Singapore have a little bit of a lifeline here. They have their own penalty corner.
Speculative ball fired in from probably 20-25 metres away, and a poor trap in the circle, leading to the ball bouncing up. Singapore forward, Noor Shah, close enough attendance for umpire Colin Hutchinson to think it was a corner.
Just a little bit lazy perhaps with the trap, so Singapore have a chance here to open their account. They won't have many better opportunities, I would suspect, in this game than a penalty corner. They've been brave enough to put 6 players around the top of the Indian circle here.
They've got to push everything out from their own circle down the middle. Is the flicker going to go straight to the goal of legs?
On the far side. That's what was entirely meant there. Goalkeeper was down. Bharat Chetri. He used to be something of a footballer, Bharat Chetri, they tell me. But certainly a very fine custodian. And obviously a leader of men as well, now captaining his country.
So looking at the replay of this corner, no, it seemed to be a planned move. The trapper had moved completely off the routine. He did well to let it hit his body and then just clear it away with his stick.
Singapore content to concede a long corner. So Ranjit on this one. India looking strong. They put a lot of work into their fitness regime. Michael Nobbs has brought fellow Australian David John along to help him with the fitness side of things, and it's starting to pay some dividends.
Singapore need to be content to play at their own pace in this game. If they try and match the Indian pace, they are going to find themselves falling short. They just need to be confident, just hold the ball, move it around a bit. They've got good individual skills, and just wind possession up the pitch, create a couple of opportunities themselves.
Attacking the Indian circle, but India just able to withstand that assault, and now they can launch. This could be India's best chance here, with Singapore pressing forward, leaving themselves a little short at the back, and India making good use of the ball. Good reach by the goalkeeper there to stop the ball going into the centre of the goal, where it would almost certainly have been finished by one of the waiting Indian forwards.
That was 6-on-3 at one point. I mean, Indians had passing options.
Shot comes in, goalkeeper hardly knew where it was before it was on him, and there's the third goal. The simplest of tap-ins, and the goalkeeper was able to save the first one, but no chance there with the follow-up. Let's watch it again. There's the man who finished the move.
That was a miss hit, wasn't it? It's going wide. Great first save. Goalkeeper getting his feet together very, very well. Ong's done well. Comes out. It's a little bit carried away, and there's a miss hit wide of the post that India are able to just tap in.
We salute you, sir. Goal number 3, India in easy street here. Shivendra, and that's a light blue head by India. Again, looking to pair their goals up. Well, like Noah's Ark, the goals coming 2 by 2. Singapore throwing it long. That's a firecracker off in the stand. I hope they bought plenty of them. Ball played forward. Here come India again. Nice bit of work on the ball. Shot comes in.
And that's a skill you don't see very often. That's the upright reverse stick hit as that ball's just popped up into the circle. Great chance. Really good execution, but very, very difficult skill here.
This is Sunil taking it on. Wasn't that far away either, just about a metre. Good ambition, good pace from India as well. Real commitment to the cause here. Found the defender's foot, has it? Umpire playing on, so I'm playing a very good advantage, a long advantage, and Tim Pullman there must have been hoping it was going to come off for him, and it's not his fault the Indian in the end ended up kicking the ball.
Oh, not so. I think it's a great bit of advantage. The ball's fallen down freely, everybody stopped, absolutely no pressure on it at all, just keep playing. Somehow that's hit a foot on the far post.
Walmiki there missing out when the goal seemed absolutely certain. The ball back on the attack though. They've decided that attack may be a better form of defence for them here. They may well be right, but it does leave India with much more space to play in, and they're capitalising on that right here and now. Goalkeeper's in trouble, and the defender in trouble as well. He can't keep the ball out of the net. And I think Chandni will be credited with the goal there. Very untidy affair, and perhaps the defence might have done a little bit better with it. But India have got their 4th goal.
Yeah, there was almost no pace on the ball when it came into the circle. There's a big scramble, bobbling up. Onga's just a little bit stuck in his pads, but then some great recovery work from India. And then, yeah, it was a defensive touch right at the end that I think knocked that into the goal. Mohamed Ishaq unable to keep the ball out of the net, and you're going to see a card here as things get a little bit rugged. Yeah. And that's Singapore's spot the number there, Simon, did you? I'd like to say it's number 2, and I think it's a yellow.
Yes, it looked yellow, so he'll be off for 5 minutes. I think Tim Pullman signalled 5 as he sent him on his way. There he is. Mohamed Farhan will be missing for the next 5 minutes, and as if Singapore didn't have enough problems on their plate, they're now down to 10.
That's Ismail dribbling out of his own D. Fantastic composure from a player who I'm sure hasn't got more than sort of double figures worth of international caps in their programme, but very, very calm under pressure.
Well, the match schedule is a little unfair on the minnows here in this one. They might have asked for a slightly easier baptism of fire in this first day of competition here on the road to London, than meeting the hosts and red-hot favourites here to qualify, India. Pace again about the Indian move. Nice flowing stick work as well. Getting a little bit unnecessary down there.
A little panicky and a rush to attempt a clearance. Nothing malicious in the contact, but we'll need to get their lines right now.
Not a very promising angle for the shot, but that's not preventing India. Follow up into the side netting.
Very, very good left foot save from Ong. That ball was going firing across the goal, possibly make it inside the far post, but if not, there was definitely Indian support. So did really well to get a good boot on it.
Chandy very close to a 5th goal there. I think it would be a personal hat-trick if he got it as well. Finding the net, but only the side net. Retaining possession, playing the ball off the foot, and that will be a penalty corner. Pullman waiting to see if an advantage would come his way again, but not this time. And he goes back to the original offence in the penalty corner. A few smiles on the Indian team benches, and well, they might be here. This game is proving to be only a minor irritation to them. Defender just a little unlucky there as he sunk down into a low position, ball just coming off the inside of his leg. I think this is going to be Sandeep this time. So Ranjit prepares to push the ball out. Singapore just organising the defenders, taking a fair amount of time in doing so as well. And Pullman trying to speed them up a little bit. Those protective gloves going on. Here's the shot. Sandeep takes a good save by the goalkeeper again. That was really travelling.
Oh, there is beautifully played along the baseline. It was a stunning save from Ong right in the very first instance. India doing really well to recover the ball. That's 1, 2, 3 fantastic short-range passes for an easy tap-in. Great teamwork and interplay.
Lovely stuff. Danish Mustafa, the goal scorer, and India halfway already towards double figures. We've still got over 10 minutes left in this first half. Singapore feeling the full heat of the Indian press. Here they come again. Big foot, they've got to be careful there. That might be construed as being deliberate. Ball slapped into the circle. No further danger this time. Well, India's women's team looked a little goal shy against Ukraine. No signs either of goal shyness or indeed stage fright here shown by the men, though.
Well, they came out with all guns firing, didn't they? They started in the way that they meant to continue. I was reading the press over here that Michael Nobbs has encouraged them to just go forwards. Passing backwards is not an option, and certainly demonstrated that today. Every time they've got the ball, they've attacked with pace and with flair and with real intention.
I think what Nobbs has done in taking over this Indian team is he's tried to add some stability to the team, a little bit of Australian game now, but he's allowed the Indians to play with their natural flair rather to make them into something which they're not. So now a very exciting package indeed. Singapore with the free hit, about 7 metres away from the Indian circle. The blue shirts back though.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Indian defender not backing away the requisite 5 yards, putting a tackle in too early. He's going to have a 2-minute sit down.
Interesting, the players are on the way to the bench before the card's produced. Somebody can tell them how long they're going to be sitting down for, but the point of it, Simon pointed out if you were listening to our last game, is that the suspension time doesn't start until you park yourself on the technical officials' bench, and as soon as you get there, as soon as you'll be back on the field. For the time being, India playing short-handed, but it doesn't seem to be making any difference to the flow of the game as they work the ball out to that left-hand side. Then a woeful pass at the end of it. wonderful ball. Perfect. Made the stop. Comfortable. Now, good pace about the Indians' attack again. And the deception is there, and the penalty corner is the end result. A thumbs up there for the umpire, who I'm sure will appreciate the boost in his confidence. And India have another penalty corner. Tushar Kandakar there going through.
Got real dividends from the baseline attacks on both sides, particularly down that left flank, getting feet round and looking to fire balls across the tap-ins. So far.
So another corner for Singapore to defend here. Clock ticks on, 7 minutes left in the first half. India with not too many players on the top of the circle here. Relying on a routine. Sandeep from close range, another brilliant save by the goalkeeper, and scooped somehow over the bar. The defenders felt the power of that shot, though. He's a big, powerful unit, Sandeep.
He is a fantastic charge down. Absolutely got hold of this. Not sure what hurt the defender, because it hit the stick square in the middle, but then a brilliant save from Ong in goal to deny the second chance. Sandeep scooping it over the bar. It's hit the middle of the stick. I think it was a stick flicking round that hit the #1 runner. Seems to be okay now, though.
That was a fantastic save from Ong, though, wasn't it? They were only about 3 metres between him and the striker. And Sandeep made good connection with it, made no mistake. That wasn't a half-hit effort. And Ong somehow kept it out.
Doing more today than he would do an average shooting practice. But you look at that stat, 21 shots to 1. He's not doing bad on percentage ratio.
He's doing very well on percentage. Singapore will be hoping that doesn't end up being the final score, but you wouldn't bet against that sort of scoreline being achievable if India really were hitting and mean. Oh, I think that's going to hurt in the morning. Might hurt a bit now. Yes, we won't dwell on that. That's Ignathi Turkey down there. He's going to be okay. He doesn't want former captain of India, of course, Ignathi Turkey, but he waves away the offer of ice, and I think that's a pretty good decision. Here come India again. Singapore looking here a little bit panicky in defence as India come again here, and there's another tap-in goal. Goal number 6. And the promise of plenty more.
And a real good example again of good team play. They're looking for each other in the circle, real composure, the simplest of goals, but in the insides of the pass we'd have seen individuals try and take that on and go through the goalkeeper, and that's some really good decision making. Very impressed so far with the way that the attacking unit have worked together.
Vendra picks up his second goal, and there could be plenty more to come. You start to fear for Singapore now as the score ticks up to 6.
I'm just counting the numbers, because every time India attack at the moment it seems like they've got 7 or 8, but you look defensively and they've still got 3 or 4 at the back. So they're attacking with such pace. Fantastic.
Danish having a little treatment there on the team bench. A bit early in the game with a big cramp. I think he might just have taken a bit of a knock around about the calf. It's working fairly energetically on him, aren't they, down there? And he's pushed about. Now, will India take pity on their opposition here, or they just keep powering forward and try and post a cricket score in this cricket-mad country? And here from India again. That's a painful one.
Yeah, it will be. Certainly the pace that they're playing at and the enthusiasm they seem to have at this moment. They're just going to keep going. I just can't see how the enthusiasm and the adrenaline is going to stop to a point where they can't just keep finishing time and time again.
Big wind up. He picked his spot, but his spot was on one of the advertising boards just wide of the goal. There's Halapara Utapa there. Got good connection on the shot. One of the newcomers in this Indian team. Just off balance on the shot and just wide as a result.
Everything he got there, didn't he? Absolutely nailed it.
He wasn't holding back. And India are not holding back as a team either. They're going forward, as you said, Simon. And every time they go forward and they're awarded with a goal, it makes them seemingly hungrier still.
Well, every Indian team's always thrived on momentum in any game that they start to get a goal or they get any sort of shift going forwards. You can just feel it. It's almost like electric that the crowd get behind them, the momentum changes, the cadence of the running changes. It becomes almost impossible to play against. Singapore are right on the brunt of that at the moment.
Plenty more to come. Good save by the goalkeeper again, just adjusting his feet at the last minute. Did well to keep the rebound down as well. Some pieces of individual flair coming from the Singapore youngsters, but no real signs of linking up in a team effort.
Beautiful individual skill from Tala Singh in the middle.
Umpire Pullman getting his whistle in quickly there before that became dangerous. The ball going up high in the air. Prospect of swinging sticks. Again, lovely play on the baseline. Just about 2 minutes left then in the first half. India already in easy street. Trying to work the space for the shot. He doesn't get the shot away, but the whistle goes, and India have been rewarded with another penalty corner here.
Yeah, again, good advantage from Tim Pullman, waiting to see where that ball fell. Could see that there was an opportunity for India. However, the Singapore defender on his knees in front of that swing suggested the whistle should go, and it did.
So 90 seconds left in this first period. We look back on that desperate attempt at a save there. And that's a stat that India will certainly want to improve on. They have an opportunity here. Sandeep isn't on the field at the moment, so he'll be a spectator for this one. Chance for somebody else to step into the limelight. It's still not clear, and what's that come off? No whistle. Tim Pullman, I think, was unsighted initially, but I think he might have got a word there from his colleague in his ear.
Agree with you completely. I don't think you could see that came off the Indian forward's knee as the ball was played out the circle. Mistrap at the top of the D here, though, in the replay. You can see the injection was bobbly to start with.
Into the last 30 seconds. We'll be mightily relieved to hear the hooter when it sounds. It's been a very long 35 minutes for them. Took India some little time to break their stubborn resistance, but once the walls have been breached, India kept flooding through. Singapore again allowing possession back for India, but hardly time for them to launch an attack here. And the hooter sounds, you can barely hear it in this noisy stadium. But India are on their way in this FIH road to London. And at half-time, they lead Singapore by 6-0. Well, plenty for the crowd to enjoy in those first 35 minutes, as we expected a real David and Goliath affair. I've seen Goliath very much on top. Michael Nobbs doing his best to hide any pleasure that he might be feeling in the scoreline. He's a demanding man. I'm sure he'll be asking for more from his team. So half-time here in New Delhi, and India leads Singapore 6-0. Yes, So, a look back at the goal scorers for India in that rather one-sided first half. A couple for Chandi Sada and a couple for Shivendra too. And Danish making up the numbers there. So 6 goals already to the good. And I've got more than a sneaking suspicion there are plenty more where those goals came from. So plenty to enjoy as we look back on the highlights of the first time. That was a near squeak in the early play as India came forward, showing that they meant business. That one hitting the woodwork right on the back of the net. It was wave after wave of Indian attack as they tried to get their sights set on the Singapore net. Eventually the goal happened after a wild swing and a miss. The follow-up was put in with some confidence, and that set the Indians going. The second goal wasn't far behind. Really strong finish there. Goal number 3 after a good save by the goalkeeper. The simplest of tap-ins for Shivendra. Goalkeeper dispossessed as he tried to run the ball towards the edge of the circle, and the fence couldn't keep the ball out, so that was 4. 5 wasn't far behind. Good save by the goalkeeper, an outstanding first half in that Singapore net. But could do little about that, lifted with confidence into the roof of the net. This was the 6th goal. Again, Shivendra, the goal scorer. But all the spade work had already been done for him. So those are the stats of that first 35 minutes. India 29 shots from which they produced those 6 goals, 27 circle penetrations and 61% of the possession. Another glorious shot of India Gate just down the road from here. There can be no finer stadium in the world of hockey than this one. Set right in the heart of the conservation area of New Delhi, and a wonderful spectacle. And the spectacle has extended to the pitch in this one, as India have rolled back the years and have turned on the power play here, and the goals have come in against, it has to be said, a gallant but heavily outgunned opposition. If you're watching and listening to our first half coverage, I know that I've got sitting alongside me Simon Mason. Simon, surely nothing that Singapore can do to really stem the flow of the Indian attacks here?
Well, I think they can change a couple of things that they're doing. I feel they've been turned over at centre midfield by trying to push the ball into there from kind of half-backs as they're coming out from 16s. If they can avoid that and play it slightly safer, that'll pay dividends. They've also thrown the ball away on long overheads quite a lot. I think if they can just play out to half-back and look for some longer slaps down the line and hold some possession up maybe 50, 60 metres away from goal, they'll do well. But stemming the tide with the Indians on the form they're on at the moment, it's going to be tough unless they really, really look after the ball, keep possession.
Well, we've got a shot there of a very relaxed-looking India coach, Michael Nobbs, but he'll know that this tournament really is all about getting through to next Sunday's final and then producing a performance in those last 70 minutes in a winner-takes-all final. First, though, you've got to get to that final, and India well on the way, brushing aside one opponent here. So India will start the second half in a moment. We're just waiting for the signal. We get it, and away we go. India then in the pale blue strip, playing against Singapore, who face another really tough 35 minutes. Great pace about the Indian attack here.
That was a cracking start down that left wing. Kahankar, as he just ran with the ball outside his left foot, carrying it, and just ran round everybody. Could easily have won a penalty corner from the tackle that came in on the circle. We heard it from up here, but umpire Colin Hutchison deciding that there was nothing wrong with it.
Here's free hit, taken quickly, maybe too quickly here, and the Singapore player is in trouble, getting too close, and he's shown a green card. I think that was Abdul Razak there, been making his way across. So Singapore again reduced in numbers. I think they're making those seats too comfortable, Sam.
Well, I'm pretty sure Singapore coach is going to be not a happy man. You don't want to be a man down in this situation at all, not with this amount of pressure that you're facing. And it's not just now when it sort of really hurts you, it's later on in the game when the legs start to get tired. Singapore's conditioning is going to be absolutely key.
Yes, the business end of this match still lies ahead for Singapore. Despite being a man short, Singapore launching a little attack of their own. No signs from the Indian demeanour they're going to take their foot off the gas, though, in this second half. They'll want to launch this campaign. You had a shot just before the start of the second half of the massed army of media here. Great deal of interest in the performance of this Indian team, as there is wherever they travel in the world, but never more so than here in New Delhi. There they are again. They used to be scribblers, but they're all keyboard proficient these days. Plenty to write about at the moment for India and their supporters.
Yeah, not just the media who are interested in this. Of course, a whole load of supporters who've come across from Great Britain to support the Indian team in their quest to make the Olympic Games. Yeah, support coming for them from all over the world. As India having great spectator support wherever they travel to, it's spectators travelling to be with them.
Well, certainly if India do make it through to London, they won't find themselves short of supporters. They play in this attractive open new style that they seem to be developing here under Michael Nobbs. They'll pick up a few extra supporters along the way as well. The world of hockey needs India to be strong. There's some signs here that they are on the way back. It's been a long road for them. 8 times winners, remember, of the Olympic round. No one can touch that record. Hockey in those days was a very different game. They're just running out of space. Or ringing the changes down by the technical table. I think one thing the Singapore coach would like to be able to do is bring on a few extra players. 11 against 11 doesn't seem to be a particularly good balance at the moment. Now, chance here.
Though.
Oh, how about that? Here comes the comeback.
Well, that's a big goal, Nick. Here comes the comeback, but it's certainly a fantastic finish.
Well, he'll be talking about that one for many, many moons still to come. What a finish there from Enrico Elfin, who really got hold of this one as clean as you like.
He's done really well to adjust his position because he'd overrun it, but he's connected with it fantastically well. Oh, nutmeg.
And that's gone through the legs of one of the best goalkeepers in the world. And now that was the mistake they made. They made them angry now. India have gone back to the other end and rattle in goal number 7 in a matter of seconds. And just restoring the old order. And the masters just telling the pupils really who's in charge here. Chandy completes his hat-trick.
Well, in the first half we saw a stat of shots on goal, which was 21-1, and you suggested it might be the end score, and I wondered how they were going to get one. They got it, but this is the replay that shows immediate response.
Chandy keeping his eye on the ball, staying strong and low and firing in the back of the net. So that's our first hat-trick of the day. Ravinder Singh Chandy. And his reward is sit on the team bench. Well, it's a shame because we could have talked about Enrico Elfin's goal for a little bit longer. And it's certainly one that he will treasure. Firing the ball through the legs there of the goalkeeper.
A world-class finish, and yeah, I'm fairly sure he will talk about it for longer once he makes his way back to Singapore after this tournament. It was a fantastic effort.
From India again, not far away. That would have been a beauty, wouldn't it? A lovely ball played across. Sunil closing in on a very well-crafted strike in his direction.
Yeah, but you look at the gap there between the Indian forward, Sunil, and the Singapore defender. That's going to be the problem. Singapore just have to keep tracking their men, keep marking their men. If they give them any space, they're going to get torn apart. It's the discipline now of their defensive structure that's going to be key.
This is where Singapore really could get undone as they start to tire and the basic skills become impossible to affect. There's another one. India rampant again. Goal number 8. Chandikar, I think, the goal scorer this time.
Yeah, with the simplest of finishes, great composure on the baseline. Pulls it back and drills it, Chandikar, into that near post. I think On will be disappointed with that, but he's done so well through the rest of the game.
Good work by Shivendra to keep the ball live for India, and then had great composure and vision to play the ball back. Umpire's going to come back to that lazy challenge and award another card. I think that was a yellow, Simon, wasn't it?
I think it was, and that's yet another 5 minutes as Singapore are down to less men. Even the run off the pitch from the player is a tired, long run from that far corner. That's the way the legs are for Singapore at the moment with 27 minutes to go.
Well, we said this was going to be a learning curve for Singapore, and so, of course, it's proving. But part of that learning curve is the discipline that comes with international hockey as well, and they're picking up cards like confetti at the moment. And those legs sure to suffer. Still India power forward. Turkey gets the ball going forwards again. playing the ball around almost at will.
I think it'll be interesting after this game in any kind of debrief that I think it'll be the Indians who will pick apart their performance and just look for any negatives, any areas where they can tighten up. And yet Singapore, I think, will be looking at it and thinking, right, there were some good things in this, let's find them, let's build on them, let's use the experience, let's not be too critical. We knew what might happen. We came out for this game, and the coach is going to have to be really smart to build his players up and build on the positives.
One thing that India, I'm sure, will be talking about, Simon, is the lack of goals coming from the penalty corners. They've not needed them this game, but there may be games still to come here in New Delhi where penalty corners have a real bearing. And there we see it, no goals from 4 corner attempts. Perhaps the only negative for India to worry about at the moment.
It suggests their routine is actually a little bit slow. I mean, maybe they're taking a bit of pace off the injection because the pitch is quite bobbly. But it's the #1 defensive runner who's got on top of 2 of those corners. And a good save from the goalkeeper on one of them. But yeah, maybe they'll need to just speed their routine up a little bit to give their drag flickers slightly more time.
Well, if they get a few more opportunities, I'm sure they will in the second half, they can still make significant changes to that statistic. A couple of goals would make all the difference. They've had to use their routine. They've not had Sandeep on the pitch for at least a couple of those corners. A lovely ball, beautiful weight on it, and very good cover as well there from Singapore. As if India were about to pull the trigger.
That was a great ball over the top, wasn't it? Superb vision from Sandeep Singh to just float it.
Sandeep again. Time goes crossfield, acres of space out there. Singapore all back in their circle. India on the ball pulled back in front. Well, we've had 8 goals for India. We could have had 18. The amount of opportunities. Michael Nobbs shakes his head in disbelief that one hasn't finished up as another goal.
And it really could have been 18. There have been so many balls flashed across the face of the Singapore goal, or saves that Ong's made. Yeah, the scoreline could be amazingly different.
You can't take the one away from Singapore.
You can't take the one away from Singapore at all.
32 shots to 3 so far, the equation. Yeah, shaping another good save. Fast feet there by the goalkeeper. It's a good save, Simon, there with his right foot.
Very good save, and as we've already said, made several. But what's impressed me is how fast he's actually got his feet together at times. I don't know where this ball went, we'll see from the replay, but actually to be able to get your feet together, you're anticipating as a goalkeeper the ball going in the corners. So to actually get your legs together or get your hands close to your body is quite a difficult skill. He's doing really, really well.
Clearly up on his toes and alert. Now India have a chance to improve on that penalty corner statistic here. Plenty of their fans down there behind the stop netting. I hope that stop netting's secure, otherwise there could be some insurance issues. Gazing in, getting as close to their heroes as they possibly can. Sandeep Singh with the white turban winds up the shot and powers it home. No stopping that one.
Well, I think that might have hit something on the way through, Nick. I think the reaction of the goalkeeper suggested we're a long way away from up here, but suggested his body was going the wrong way. So could this get any kind of a touch, or did he just drag this straight in? No, it's #1 runner.
It's come off the trailing stick of the runner there. It was destined for the left-hand side of the goalkeeper and ended up going down his right-hand side. Up. Here come India again. More problems here for Singapore. Here's another one. And that takes us to double figures. And still they come 2 by 2.
They do indeed, and Singapore looking all out of shape there. You've only got to look at the defenders, where the positions on the pitch. This is a great counter-attack. Lovely vision to just slide the ball under feet, leading into the far post. The easiest of finishes.
Utapa, the goal scorer, there he is. That shock of curly hair. He looks a useful performer. So we've got our double figures. And we've still got almost 22 minutes remaining. Pick a number. A lovely bit of individual skill, unlocking the Singapore defence one more time.
There's some hesitancy in the Singapore defence, nobody stepping up on the ball carrier. That's the danger when you start to worry about what's going on behind you. Maybe the calling has decreased just slightly, but India now stepping up with one of the highest presses I've seen at international level for a long time.
Well, India's scoring here, which has been really impressive. The goals have been shared around. We've now got 7 different goal scorers. I've just been informed in my headset that we've only got room to show you 8. So 1 or 2 of our team are hoping that India get a little bit more selfish with the ball and don't share any more goals around. But it's been a really useful workout this for Michael Nobbs's team. And they're looking to be in good fettle here.
Gentry, their goalkeeper in the press, have been talking about how these first 2 games may well turn into practice games to set them up for the rest of the tournament, and so far with the score it suggests it could do. But what will be interesting is to see if India can maintain their discipline. Criticisms of past Indian teams have been on their discipline structurally as well as temperamentally, and if they can keep their discipline here, they could score a hatful. I think Singapore is completely unpicked.
Well, they're hurting down there now, Singapore, and certainly some of the indiscipline that they've shown, which have been punished by with the cards, is now starting to have a bearing. Sideline ball for Singapore. Free hit. Chance for Singapore to take a little bit of a breather here. India have had so much possession, you think that it would be they that are tiring, but in many ways it's the team in possession that are able to take a breather. Singapore have been chasing shadows for most of the hour or so we've had so far.
Yeah, indeed, and when we're attacking in this bottom right-hand corner, the issue being is that they've turned the ball over so many times with 8 people high. If India counter that quickly, they've only got a 70-metre defensive sprint, so they just need to try and keep the ball as high up the pitch as they can, but not necessarily force it to run over possession. They'll get punished and have to do a lot of legwork.
India playing the ball forward quickly here. Ball set back, and there's goal number 11. Danish Mustafa there, the goal scorer, number 17, has his hairstyle ruffled for his troubles. Lovely work on the ball again. And Mustafa though was there to put the ball into the back of the net. Again, on with little protection.
And India getting such good support runs coming across their midfield. Ball play down the right-hand side, long ball through. Then the first person missed it in support, second person there, Danish, absolutely on the money.
Well, he must be a proud man, and a glimmer of a smile there. And there's a 12th. They do like their pairs of goals, don't they? Yuvraj makes it a round dozen. I think Yuvraj will be a new goal scorer. I can't remember him getting another one, but you'll excuse me if I've not been writing all these goals down. I wouldn't have been looking at the pitch at all if that had been the case. Another clinical finish against the now soundly beaten defence.
Interesting to see now if Singapore have the experience, any kind of experienced players, certainly from with their own perspective anyway, any number of caps to start to put a little bit of solidity in this.
There's number 13. Unlucky for Singapore, that's for sure. Sunil, the goal scorer. Just too easy. Lovely little glance up there from Kandakar. And there's the finish.
On the left, scrawling, yeah, it's just the defensive shape. It's just the man-to-man marking. People need to get a little bit more shoulder-to-shoulder and start forcing the Indians away from goal. A little bit more presence, get a little bit closer contact.
I think Singapore are running on empty now. They're India rattled in 13 goals, and we've still got over a quarter of an hour remaining. Here they come again. India on the rampage.
That would have been one of the best passes I've seen for a long, long time. A fantastic lead run from Chandy at the top of the circle, and a beautiful open-handed pass diagonally across the pitch.
I think they're happy out there. They've spotted themselves on the big screen. They're just going through a few moves of their own here. Quite enough of that. Sardar feeds it forward again. Sardar's not needed to be at his best in this game. Been irresistible attack after irresistible attack for India. Here they come again, looking for goal number 14. This time Samong gets his left foot in the way and knocks it away.
It's just magic individual skill, the invention and the pace and the creativity. The Indian midfield coming through from deep. The forward line are pulling away to offer them space to run into, and they're exploiting every metre of it.
Let's not get too carried away though, Simon. India's tournament here will not be defined by this particular game, and it's how they perform in a sterner test that will still be interesting to witness. Whether they now have more mental stamina to stand up, perhaps falling behind in a game. We'll see how they react to that situation, should it occur. But certainly they could have done no more tonight than they've already achieved. An overwhelming performance from them. And we expected to be tough for Singapore. We weren't perhaps prepared for it to be quite this tough.
Unfortunately for Singapore, with what you perceive to be the top 2 or 3 teams within this tournament in the men's division, might all come down to goal difference. You can't see anybody backing off against any of the lesser sides. Canada certainly didn't earlier on in the day against Italy with the 9-0, and for the lesser teams it could easily be harsh times in the last 10 or 15 minutes of games where they do get punished for a lack of fitness or a lack of structure.
From India again, but Singapore continue to show signs of wanting to put up a scrap. Lovely approach play, and there's goal number 14. Sunil, the goal scorer, and that could well be a hat-trick for him. Just chopping it into the artificial turf, up into the air.
And it was the hesitation from Sunil. He didn't hit it first time, so On had to dive across to cover that first time shot, and Sunil's pause just allowed him to fire it into the turf, squeezing it over the keeper.
It's just like the old days. This was soccer, Simon. The crowd be singing "Can We Play You" every week there, I think. It's not going to be quite so easy for the rest of the tournament as this one, but I want to pay tribute to Singapore that they're here at all. When the call came from the International Hockey Federation, they were man enough to answer that call, and they've played a full part in this game. Yes, they've been heavily outgunned, but they've been here to be counted.
Indeed, and I believe in one of the other Olympic qualifying tournaments, Brazil have stepped up to the mark to replace Cuba as well, and
they have indeed.
They're certainly looking forward, obviously, to 2016, what they can do with their hockey team, so that will be a development project, much as this is for Singapore. It's just making the most of your opportunities. If you don't get the chance to play internationally very often, to come here and play in this stadium, in this theatre, against the Indians at home, great learning experience.
It's a dream. It's the sort of stuff you can tell your grandchildren about one day. I wonder if Brazil have found a hockey Pele yet.
I have obviously no idea at this moment, but I do know that they're looking at their hockey very seriously and investing a lot of time in developing things. And the FIH have put some regulations down in terms of their qualification and how good they need to be. So everything's in place to allow them to try and develop a good enough standard.
Pele with a stick might well be a way of describing the talent that was the unique skills of Diane Chand, of course.
Indeed, yes. I mean, he was a master, a wizard. I mean, he's revered in hockey culture. And he was legendary, albeit in a game that was played in kind of a different way, on a different set of rules, and possibly not quite at the pace we see today, but he was a master.
We're looking for further blood here. Onto the challenges, looking very tired now. India buzzing around the Singapore net like bees round a honey pot here. And Ong seems to have a charmed life there. He must be black and blue. I've not seen him flinch once though yet. Some of his reflexes have been outstanding.
I know there's an argument for any one of the Indian players in this game for the match tournament. We have nothing to do with it, but he has been outstanding. He's made some fantastic saves for a goalkeeper with very little experience. To keep playing what he has been brilliant. It shows composure and maturity.
A couple of world-class saves along the way as well. Long chase in vain there. Just about 10 minutes left. India for the first time showing some signs of compassion here, just taking some of the pace out of the game. Time perhaps for a little bit of showboating for them. As if we've not had some already. The ball's come off the Singapore foot, so India will have a free hit in a fairly central position here. Take it quickly, spread wide on that right-hand side.
I'm personally very glad if they do take their foot off the gas slightly, because if you manage to predict 21-1 correctly for an outcome and it came true, we'll never hear the end of that.
Ball thrown over the top, and the bounce, the undoing there. One very nearly a second goal there for Singapore.
Yeah, Chetri called into action to come off his goal line, and if we look at percentages of what he's had to do compared to what Ong and Singapore's had to do, I think Ong's actually been better on percentages of shots to saves.
Yep, I think that's a slightly jaundiced but perfectly fair way of viewing it.
I'm just trying to support a guy, goalkeepers union, who's let in 14 goals.
Yes. What was the most goals you ever conceded in the game?
Funnily enough, my very first junior international, I lost 14-0 to Germany.
Well, there you go then. You know exactly how he feels. And they took you off at half-time, didn't they?
Well, they put me on at half-time. We were 8-0 down at half-time. They put me on, I let in 6.
Well, we were discussing between the two Indian games today whether, if the goalkeeper has taken a lot of punishment, whether it's a good idea to withdraw him. But Ong has certainly not been to blame for any of these goals, and his confidence must be very high. And that's a penalty corner, says Colin Hutchinson. And perhaps on another occasion he might have been slightly harder still and pointed to the penalty spot. Kavendra's pace and awareness has been an issue throughout. And he looks a real crowd pleaser.
He has been outstanding tonight, and that's an unfortunate clash. I don't think there's anything malicious in there, but he's had a hand in so many of these goals. In terms of assists, if we had a stat for that, I think he'd be pretty high up the list.
I'm sure he would. He looks an unselfish player. So a chance for India again. Sandeep were looking something a little cleaner than his last effort. The finish in the back of the Singapore net with a lot of help, and he picks the spot. Looked to be certainly high and possibly wide as well.
He's opened his wrists up and flicked that to the goalkeeper's left, but under is slightly too much. Soft pitch. I'm not sure, still difficult to see from this angle. Didn't look like it missed by much though.
Just going over the angle really, wasn't it? Ball handed back to India on a plate here. Singapore shot. And flush wide of the post there. Singapore giving the ball away there, setting up India's shot at goal.
Panicky release from the back, and vision with the pass, just kind of shoveling it away. Oh, that similarly, same player, same mistake.
Here it comes again. They don't seem to be learning the lessons about handing the ball to their opponents. Singapore playing a little bit from memory here. That was the recent tangle. Nothing malicious involved there. And here come India. Well, a wasted pass. Possession back with Singapore, but will bring it up to halfway. Chandy. And the ball fell into the circle. Chance here. And just wide, despairing dive at the far post.
But again, great effort as a forward lead run to get onto that far post. Did really, really well, Valmiki, to get in advance of the attack when the attack was a counter at such pace.
Well, Valmiki has come close to at least half a dozen goals. Very unfortunate there. Here come India again. And the goalkeeper got a little bit fortunate. The ball passed between his legs and just caught him on the inside of the thigh, I think. He attempted to bring his legs together again.
Well, it wasn't pretty, but it was effective in the end. It was a real battle of wills. Who's going to move first? Who's going to move first? Just got enough on it as it bobbled between his feet. And then a fortunate Singapore clearance that didn't go to an Indian stick.
Well, Samong certainly won't need any rocking tonight. He's had plenty of exercise. The heroes of Singapore's brave but failed effort in the end.
Singapore still leaving 3 men outside their D, defending quite happily with the goalkeeper and 7, leaving players up in case they get that opportunity to counter-attack. Just want to make the most of any chances they get, so they need some passing options going forward.
Lovely forward lead indeed. It's Gilani out there. Chance here for a second, is that? No, it's knocked away. The ball bounced around that Indian circle.
Singapore now have a problem because they committed all their men to that attack and they're now short-handed in defence.
You can make them pay here. Very measured look to the move, but the final shot just flashes wide.
It does, but fair play to Singapore with 3.5 minutes to go. They've counter-attacked, they've left men up, it's opened them up here. Just the faintest of touches to miss that far post.
Painful knock on the foot there. Singapore had competed in just the single Olympic Games back in 1956. I can predict there won't be a second for them in London. India's dream of the golden ticket for London still very much alive and kicking here. They'll pull the cross and they've got the men back there on the goal line for Singapore. Shot comes in. Ong's there again. Batted away. India looking to finish with a flourish.
I think India will be disappointed. One of the stats, the number of balls that have gone across the face of the goal and not been finished off. I appreciate they've scored an absolute hatful, but there's certainly been a number of chances that they'll be looking at their forwards positioning with respect to finishing those off in other games.
They've scored a hatful and missed a wardrobe full. 50 circle penetrations there. Just for the first time starting to get little careless in defence, probably thinking about the the end of this game now on a nice warm shower. All the pressure off. They've got that first game under their belts. They've done what they and their army of spectators expected. And even the coach feels he can take a seat now.
Yeah, not looking like he's under too much pressure at this moment in time.
I would sneaking thought his mind had already moved on to the next encounter for India. They continue to come forward, approaching the last minute of play now.
I think that could potentially be a problem for Singapore if that's a yellow card, because I think the second yellow card's the same player.
Singapore hanging on here as India look to increase their tally, and they've done just that. Goal number 15, Uvraj, the goal scorer. Plenty of power on the shots. Chandu's been outstanding for my money in this game, setting it up and drilled into the back of the net there. So 20 seconds and surely that will be the last goal that India will have time to score. Singapore in no great rush to get this ball back to the centre line, and who can blame them? 15 goals to 1 is surely enough for anyone to suffer. The Indian sections of the crowd here are on their feet to cheer home their heroes. They've got the road to London underway by sweeping aside Singapore and winning this first game by 15 goals to 1. The hero of the corners, Sandeep, was not necessarily a hero today. A couple from him that flew wide, a couple that he wasn't on the field for. Just the one goal from his stick took a big deflection off the defender on the way out. So handshakes all round. I'm sure Singapore would love to get hold of one of those Indian shirts as a souvenir as well. Bharat Chetri, the Indian goalkeeper captain, and confirmation of that scoreline: India 15, Singapore 1.